All right, we are live with Prettyboyfloyd. What is up, man?
Yo, what's up, man?
All right,
Glad to
man.
be on
So
here.
cool. Glad to have you on, man. He is a subscriber for my channel, and I'm starting some collabs on the Austin Way channel. So, first of all, man, where are you from, and what do you do, man? Maybe just tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, man. So I'm from Virginia Beach, Virginia, in United States of America. So for work as my full-time job, I'm a firefighter and paramedic for the city of Chesapeake. And on the side, I do some modeling and YouTube, of course. And those are like my two main like side gigs. So yeah, I've been a YouTuber for about I want to say 7 years since I was 18. I'm 25 now. I make a lot of content on self-improvement, like how to do your hair, how to do skincare, just basically how to look your best. And also what Austin does, getting your body right, getting your diet in check, stuff like that. So yeah, I recently subscribed to Austin's channel, and I saw he had a lot of good content, a lot of content that related to me. Help you out on your journey of self-improvement. So glad to be on a live stream. Glad to talk about these topics. So, thank you, Austin, for
Definitely.
having me on.
No worries, no worries. Grateful to have you here, man. And that's why I actually wanted to have him on the channel too. He has a self-development channel, and he knows a lot more about some very particular subjects than I even know. I feel like my expertise is kind of mostly to fitness. And then outside of that, I feel like you've kind of got much more advanced with some of the development stuff that I haven't really messed around with much.
Yeah.
So I think you have a lot of expertise to offer. So it should be a fun video, man.
Yeah, man.
All right, so
Appreciate it. Yeah.
there we go. Have the first comment. What is up? All right, man.
Yep.
So, yeah, people will kind of add in as we're doing the live stream. But
Oh
yeah, man.
yeah.
So first of all, what is up, Chads? So many men in 2022, they seem so afraid to become the best versions of themselves. Like they're so afraid to actually like take care of their skin, like do certain things to their hair, like have fashion. Like where I'm from, like in Oklahoma, like even if you would wear something like slim fitting jeans or like care about your
Mhm.
fashion, like everyone starts calling you gay or just like starts like just saying stuff about you. And it's like, I'm just taking care of myself. It's like, why is this such a big deal?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So
I mean,
why do you think we're so
yeah,
afraid
dude.
to look at best nowadays, man?
Bro, I mean, like, to be honest, like, to hear you say that just feels so like I wish like I had a friend like you growing up, you know what I'm saying? Like who would have that level of
Yeah.
understanding. Because when I was younger, bro, whenever I would used to tell people like, oh yeah, I gotta wash my face, I gotta moisturize my face, they'd be like, yo, are you gay? And it's just so crazy, like the little shit like that. And I remember doing that when I was like, like 12 years old, like years ago.
Yeah.
Nowadays the paradigm has shifted so much where it's just like it's totally acceptable for a guy to wash his face and take care of himself. But there are definitely still a lot of people out there who are like, yo, why do you care so much about your skin? Like, yo, it's gay. And it's so crazy how like closed-minded people can be in terms of that. And especially with guys, man, it's just like, yo, like I was
Weird,
just talking
man.
to my friend earlier about this, is that like, yo, I feel like it's more important for a guy to look good nowadays than like for a girl, just because we were talking about like the black pill community and how like incels and stuff, and how like, yo, like if you don't look that good, like if you're fat, if you're unattractive, like how much it really ruins your quality of life. And
100%.
yeah, like it's just like depression, anxiety, like social anxiety, really, like to be more specific, not just anxiety in general, but just social anxiety, feeling like an outcast, like
Yeah.
people don't want to talk to you, you know what I'm saying, when you're that weird looking guy in class and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
You
I
say
feel
the
like now,
phrase, like, I'm
yeah,
sorry, man.
go ahead.
I was just saying the phrase how like
Oh no, no, no,
20% of
you're good.
sorry, we're just lagging a little bit.
Yeah,
like
yeah. The connection is a little laggy.
yeah, just how 20% of men date 80% of the women. So it's pretty much like
Yes.
80% of guys, probably the guys who are too afraid to actually take care of themselves. They're the ones
Yeah.
like kind of out of the dating pool just because
Yeah.
they're not really making an effort, just because they're
Right.
so secure.
Yeah. And I feel like what comes with that is like the ego. And I
Yeah,
feel like your ego can get in the way of a lot of this because you feel like a lot of this is just genetic. Like you feel like, oh, I shouldn't have to put in that much work. Like, this guy, he doesn't put in that much work, so I don't have to either. So I should be getting, the 80% of girls or whatever. But it's just like, nah, and I feel like it's hard for guys to come to the realization that like you're not special, you know?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just like, like you gotta put in the work. Like all throughout life, like you're going to, like there's gonna be kids in class who just get the topic like that, you know, like they're just
yeah,
naturally good at math. You might not be so
yeah,
good at math. Like you might need to put in the extra work to be as good as the guy who's like naturally gifted, who doesn't have to study but still gets A's. Like it's the same thing. Like, like the guy who just naturally has abs without you know, thinking about what he eats, don't think that you're that guy, if you're not that guy. And once you are able to face the problem, you can then understand it. And that's how you overcome the problem, is when you face it and be like, okay, so I might not be able to eat whatever I want to eat, but what is the science behind this guy having an aesthetic body, you know? And then you come
yeah,
to find out when you look deeper into it, it's just, counting calories, it's a science
yeah,
behind it. Yeah,
yeah. It's just the
it's just
consistency,
like you just have to put in the work. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I mean,
so
so
I
many
think
people
that's,
like.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
No,
Yeah,
no,
it's just like
you're good.
everyone's. Yeah, it's like everyone's just dealt these specific cards, and like some people, let's say, like you're born as a Chad, like no matter how good your genetics are, like if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to look
Mhm.
just as shitty as everyone else is. Like,
Right.
especially once your 20s come, like your 30s, like you're not going to age well, you're not going to really have a high quality of life unless you can consistently put in the work into your self development and becoming the best
Right.
man that you could possibly become. Because like no matter what you have, like you have to invest into it and keep growing. It's like
Yeah.
anything, man. No,
Oh, yeah.
cool.
I think a lot of guys too, they don't understand the blessing in saying not being, naturally a Chad, not being an 8 out of 10 or above or whatever, because those guys who naturally are gifted, they aren't
Yeah,
going to take care of themselves. Like because they don't have to put in the work. Why should they now? You know what I'm saying? They're 30 years old. Why should they now? Like they're starting to lose their hair.
yeah,
They never had to worry about hair loss. Like they're starting to get fat. They
yeah,
never had to worry about their diet. So when you
yeah,
don't, that's the sort of blessing that you get when you're not, you know what I'm saying? Like genetically like attractive, than a lot of people, because then you start to learn more about it. And when you learn more about it, it's just, there's a blessing in that, because it's just like you know more than the Chad. So like when he hits that wall at 30, when he starts
yeah,
developing wrinkles, when his skin starts to sag, when he starts to face hair loss, he never had to think about
yeah,
that. But you
yeah,
did, because you're facing that problem head on, you know? And
yeah,
he's already had that big ego saying, I don't have to worry about hair loss. I never had to worry about diet. Why should I now? He's way too old to
yeah,
even change his perspective on the whole
mhm,
thing. So
yeah,
we were talking about incels earlier, and that's when they have to like
yeah,
change their mindset. It's just like you can do something about it. Like your life isn't doomed. If anything, your life is actually better, because it's like you'll know more,
100%, man,
so yeah.
100%. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's just about putting the work into yourself. Like no matter your genetics, guys, like no one, like no matter how blessed somebody is, you always have to work on yourself. And at the end of the day, especially as a man, I feel like the most important thing is just adding value to all aspects. Like even if you just physically look good, you still need to increase your consciousness. You still need to be good socially. Like if you go to a party, you need to actually be able to socialize with people, not be the weird guy there, you know, like
Yeah.
just every other aspect. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
So we have some people asking about the modeling, man. So I think
Mm-hmm.
the next question is pretty much like, how long have you been modeling, and how did you kind of get into modeling? And I think I saw on
Yeah.
your channel a little bit, like it kind of you were kind of like that ugly duckling a little bit too, kind of like
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of like what kind of work did you have to put into yourself to where you were
Yeah.
able to like lock down modeling contracts and be able to obviously
Mm-hmm.
make a little bit of money with that, get some really sick
Yeah.
photos, stuff like
Yeah. So like the journey is always crazy, especially like when you hear about like some of these people and like you're surprised like where they came from. Like some of these guys like, you know, like started out homeless and now like they're millionaires. Like it's crazy. And just how you were talking about like the ugly duckling phase. I remember when I was
that.
younger, like kids used to, you know, call me ugly. And like, you know, when I was like in elementary school and I was like 6. And you know, throughout the years, like your face is going to develop, and you know, you have so many, like you can change so many things about yourself, and that can be for the better or for the worse. You know, I look at freaking girls in high school that like used to reject me, and like I'm looking at them now, and I'm just like, oh God, I'm glad I didn't end up with that. Um, you know, and it's just because you
Yeah,
know they take advantage of it. They don't, you know, they don't think about it. But back in school, bro, when picture day would come up, I would hate it. I would hate picture day, bro,
yeah.
just because
Me too, man. I
I was
hated
just like, yo,
anything
I'm one of
social
the,
or school, really. Yeah.
what'd you say?
I hated school, man. Like I could not wait to get out of
Mhm.
school. I was just I never felt like I fit in, you know, like I just wanted to
Yeah,
get out and just kind of have like that complete freedom over my life. I felt like school, there's
yeah.
just so many rules, restrictions. Like I was
Oh
not a
yeah,
fan.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. But when it came to picture day, I hated it, bro. Like I always thought like I looked ugly. I hated it. But I remembered it was like my freshman year in college. And I think I was like really like trying to like think about like, yo, how could I be more attractive? You know? But
Yeah.
I think in college was like when I tried to like, you know, like really go hard about it. But when I was younger, you know, I was Google searching how to be more attractive, you know, what to do, blah, blah, blah. And it would just be the basic stuff like skincare and this and that. And I think once I got into college, I really started to dig deep into what makes a face attractive. And I used to like compare myself to
Yeah.
male models and being like, how are they getting their cheekbones popping like that? How are they getting their jaw lines like that? Like how is their face getting like that? And I remembered in college, man, my freshman year was like I noticed like I started to gain weight, you know, like that freshman
Yeah.
15 that everybody talks about. And I noticed that
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
going to my face. And I was just like, yo, why does my face look like a cloud right now? Like, why does it look so, you know, fat? Like I used to have more definition than this.
Yeah.
And you know, I would look at it and I would like compare like models and stuff. And I would just be like, oh shit, like I like not only is their face, you know, lean, but so is their body. And I would, you know, get
Yeah.
more in depth with it. And, you know, even on the unhealthy side of modeling, you would hear about eating disorders and stuff like that, you know,
Yeah.
anorexia, things like that. And then, you know, I've always been an athlete too. It's like I've always worked out. So I always had, you know, a bit of muscle definition on me. But I started to see that
Yeah.
go away. So I
Yeah.
remember one summer I was like looking up diets like to do and stuff, and it was this one diet called the military diet. It was like lose 10 pounds in like 3 days. And
Oh shit.
I
I've
remember
never heard of that one.
oh really the military diet?
No,
That
no, never
shit,
heard of it.
that shit is intense. That shit is intense. You're eating like I want to say like 700 or 800 calories for like 3 days, and it's just like
Jesus Christ. It's just like a 3-day
yeah,
fast, man.
yeah, man, it basically is, and it's just like you
Yeah.
have like an apple for breakfast, a slice of bread for lunch with like peanut butter on it, and like for dinner you have like like a cup of ice cream, and that's it. And it was
Oh
like for 3
shit.
days. Yeah, and I remembered, bro. I remembered I did that, and I
Yeah.
remembered I came back the next year in college, and I remembered everybody was asking me, like, yo, you look so young. What did you do? And even people were asking me, like, if I got surgery, but
Yeah.
I had just lost 10 pounds. And I remember
Yeah.
that year, I had like people come up to me because there was this modeling club in college too. And they were asking me if
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted to be part of it. And I would,
Oh, shit.
and this was like the first time in my not the first time in my life. Like
Yeah.
even when I was younger, like I used to have girls approach me, here and there, and this and that. But whenever I got into
Yeah.
college, I started to get, compliments such as like, "Oh my God, you're so pretty." Like I used to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
like words like "you're beautiful," "you're pretty," which is
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
just add. I used to never like get that, so I was just like,
Yeah.
"Yo, what the fuck changed?" And it was the diet. It was just losing the body fat just to bring the facial structure out more.
So it's crazy, man. I mean,
Yeah,
everyone like they think like they don't have cheekbones or like they don't have a jawline, but no
yeah,
one's ever gotten lean enough to actually see if they have it, you know?
right,
Like,
right.
yeah,
Like
like there's
people
pictures of
think, yeah.
what is it?
Oh no, go ahead,
Oh,
go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, yeah. No, like there's the photos. So it's like Christian Bale, for example. Like there's like him
Hmm.
in American Psycho where he's super chiseled, like he has like a his jawline and the cheekbones are just popping. And then there's photos of him whenever obviously he gains weight for a role. And his face, like
Right,
he looks unrecognizable. Like he looks like a different person. And that's the thing, man. Like out of
right.
anything, like if you just want to look more attractive, just getting to a low enough body fat percentage will automatically highlight all those natural
Mhm.
features. No, so
Yeah.
and not enough
I,
people
I get
ever
so like,
too.
yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true. I get so many questions about like when people are like, "Yo, how can I get a jawline? How can I get cheekbones?" Or even when they ask me about fillers and stuff, I'm just like, "Yo, the first thing that you need to do before you even consider cosmetic procedures is to lose body fat."
yeah,
Because all those features that you're talking about, having like, cheekbones, the jawline, the hollow cheeks, all that comes with having a lean body. And before you do
yeah.
that, because you could save yourself thousands of dollars, like just by just losing body fat. And not only that, but I've also noticed with myself included, is that if I get well, not that I get fillers a lot or whatever, but the time that I got fillers and I was like kind of like I weighed a little bit more, like I was a little bit
Yeah,
more fat in the face. The swelling looked more intense, and my face didn't look necessarily structured. It just looked like it had more volume to it. So
I can
even when you're augmenting something like the cheeks or the jaw, like you
yeah,
still need to be at a low body fat percentage. And I feel like you really need to have that base before you start considering surgery, because you don't know what kind of facial, deficits you have until you reveal that, by losing the body fat. Um,
yeah.
and
That
also with those expensive surgeries like buccal fat removal, jawline implants, cheek implants, stuff like that. If you don't have a good diet set up, you're going to throw your money in the trash because you're going to gain all that weight again. Like if you still have shitty eating habits, your face is
well,
going
it'll
to look,
just cover everything up, you know? It's like
yeah,
no matter
yeah,
how big and bulky your abs are, like if you have too much fat covering it, you won't even see your six pack. It's the same thing with the
right,
face.
right.
That kind
Same
of
thing.
reminds me of a mild tangent that I want to ask you about actually. Because
Yeah.
guys, he's more of a like you've gotten a little bit of filler, like a little bit of Botox.
Hmm.
I'm kind of it reminded me of a very quick question.
Hmm.
Zac Efron, what the hell
Yeah.
happened to him? Yeah, what
So,
happened to him? Like
oh
it was
yeah,
like it was like a year ago, maybe even more than that. But he was obviously like the basic Chad for everybody. He had
yeah,
this chiseled jawline,
yeah,
like cheekbones, everything. And then it looks like he got like a whole bunch of filler in his face.
yeah,
And then now every time you see him, he looks all puffed up. Like he doesn't look good at all. Like it's
yeah,
weird, man.
and
He looks good, but like it,
yeah,
it's like much, like handsome
Yeah.
skateboard type.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
And that's why I actually brought that up, because remember how I said like when I gained a little bit of weight, it didn't necessarily
yeah,
add structure, like definition, like you could see like a cut, like a line, you could see a shadow, but it added volume. So like with Zac Efron, which I'm pretty sure he did probably get fillers or some sort of procedure done.
yeah. That was
Zac
weird.
Efron has, yeah, but he's lately gained a lot of weight ever since Baywatch. Like, like the
Yeah,
real shredded like, chisel guy. But if you see him, a little bit after that, he started gaining a little bit of weight. Like his abs went away.
yeah,
He even talked about how like when he was on low carb, like he hated it, and you can see
yeah,
him gain a little bit of weight in the face. So I feel like when you're a celebrity, or if you're a person who's rich and have a lot of money, but when you don't have that knowledge about what makes, those facial aesthetics, pop out, it's just like you just think that, oh, if I get fillers, or oh, if I get an implant, I'll have my facial structure
Mhm.
back. But it's deeper than that,
That makes
because
sense.
it's the fat
Yeah,
that's covering it. So you're not
yeah,
attacking the problem at the root. You're just trying to like put a band-aid on it, which in turn it just
yeah,
makes you look, bloated and fat. And it's just like the underlying cause is it's the body fat covering it. So in my
yeah.
opinion, what I think what had happened was that he probably missed having that facial structure, and he probably wasn't
Yeah,
aware that body fat goes to your face too. And especially when you
yeah.
inject fillers, it actually draws a little bit of water into the face. So that's why you have to be
Oh,
like
sure.
really, yeah. So that's how you kind
Yeah,
of get like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like he
That's
gained some weight. He was in
yep.
his 30s. He's probably getting insecure about losing his looks. And then he's
Yes.
like, "Oh, we need to fix this."
Yep.
And then he probably went to some shitty cosmetologist, and they gave him filler. So he shows
Yeah.
up. I forgot what show he was on. It was like an interview, but he shows up
Yeah,
and
I
his
seen
face
that.
is blowing out
Yeah,
like a
and
balloon. He was
his
so
chin
not.
is like really like out like that, and I'm just like, yeah, because I mean, it's such a shame, bro. Like that people just they think they could like skip a level. Like, nah,
Yeah,
bro. Like, pay attention to diet and exercise first before you get into those cosmetic procedures. You need to learn about what is causing you to look like that. It's not
100%.
because
Yeah,
of like I don't even know what goes through people's heads, like like as into like I don't know, like they feel like they've lost like bone mass or something like that, or I don't know. I really don't know like the
weird.
yeah, but it's mainly body fat, and it's hard to like tell people that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so we have a quick question on this subject, actually, if you wanna kind of answer it. So, do you think Brad Pitt has ever done anything for his jawline? Is that just purely
Yeah.
genetic? He's like
I
Brad Pitt's like
I yeah,
the
I definitely
basis of,
think
like, the
that's genetic.
godly facial aesthetics. What is it?
Oh yeah, I think it's
Yeah?
genetic. I even think young
It's
Brad.
genetic?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
What about at his age, though? Do you think he's done anything to keep up with his looks? Because he smokes and he drinks quite a bit too, I think.
Mhm. I mean, hell,
Yeah,
some people could smoke, drink, and still, look good or whatever. But I
yeah.
I haven't seen a recent picture of him, but I'm pretty sure he has some fine lines and wrinkles now. Probably a
I
little
think
bit of
so, but
sagging skin,
he's
but
aging very
Mhm.
well still. I think he's almost like 60,
He
or
is.
if he hasn't already hit 60.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I saw a trailer for him
yeah,
recently. He still looks amazing. Like people were talking about how attractive he is
yeah.
in the trailer. It's hilarious.
Mhm. Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he had work done. I probably everybody in
Yeah.
Hollywood has work done. Even when you get
Probably, yeah, just little
into
touches.
yeah, just like little tweaks, but nothing like major, really. And you don't need to do anything major. Like majority of people don't need to do anything major, And
Yeah,
yeah, like they don't need to go under the knife most of the times. It's mostly just non-invasive procedures that they
yeah.
need to do. Yeah, just like little things here and there. But Brad's jawline,
Sure.
it's like it's pretty wide, It's
It's
like,
huge, man. Like
yeah.
it's like all the way like here. Like it's insane, man.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he has like pretty like big masseter muscles, the
Yeah,
jaw muscles that sit on top of the jawline that kind of make it pop
yeah,
out in the corners. So
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
I would think it's genetic. Yeah, like some people just genetically have a good wide jawline, which is good for a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and I
this
mean
kind of brings me
even
to. Oh, what were you
yeah,
saying, man?
nah, you're good.
Okay,
What were you
cool,
saying?
cool.
Yeah,
It's
because
just the next question. Because obviously I'm not an expert in Botox, anything like this. I've always been more of a hippie in that kind of sense. So
yeah.
you're more of the expert. So I kind of wanted to know, like, especially as you're getting older and just like maximizing your aesthetics like to the fullest. Because obviously
Mhm.
you've had a little bit of work done. Like, what's your opinion on obviously getting Botox fillers, and then like how can men safely do it, and how do you think they should do it? You know?
Yes. So with Botox, um, I would advise somebody to do it before it's too late. Because like if you ever seen like older men, and I always look at people's faces, like whenever I'm out and about, and I suggest everybody else to do this too, is that like you should
Yeah.
ask yourself like what is making him look older. Sometimes it's the
Okay.
hairline that's like giving the mature
Yeah.
hairline, like the corners are going in, like like in like that. Most of the times the forehead wrinkles are static, which means without movement you could still see the lines there. um, you know,
Yeah.
uh, Wrinkles in the corner of the eye. And even a lot of people
Oh,
don't
see,
think about this either. Like those are like the obvious things, like the wrinkles,
yeah, yeah, the basic
the
ones.
fine lines, the receding hairline. But what I think a lot of people don't take into consideration is the lower face. Like whenever somebody has like a little bit of weight to their lower face, like sagging skin. Like some people like get
Yeah.
these smile lines like on the corner of their
Yeah.
mouth that just kind of like stay there. Those are
That makes
also a
sense.
sign of aging and like maturity. But definitely one of the things that are overlooked is the lower face. They call it like a triangle of youth. So like like you think of like an upside down triangle, like it's like
Yeah.
everything's up. But as you get older, everything starts to go down. Like gravity starts to take
Makes
in.
sense.
The skin starts
Do
to
you think that's why
sag.
people who stay lean most of their lives tend to age much, much better? Like these
Oh
celebrities,
yeah,
I mean, look at like,
yes,
obviously like Jared Leto is a perfect example. He's been shredded like his entire life, and he's in
yeah.
his 50s now. Like, holy shit.
Yes. Dude, I didn't even
Yeah.
know that. He looks really good
Yeah.
for his
Yeah,
50s.
it's
Like
insane, man.
I mean, that he looks amazing, I must say. He's definitely,
Yeah.
yeah, he's got it. I didn't know
Yeah.
he was in his 50s.
Yeah.
Fuck. I thought he was like in his 30s.
Yeah, he says
Yeah,
it's
but even something,
his vegan
yeah.
diet. I'm not too sure about it though. It's weird,
Oh,
man.
his vegan diet.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what he says.
yeah. I don't know about vegan diet because even when you look at bro's skin, it's like it's mad smooth. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
think at 50
yeah.
you would at least have like some forehead wrinkles or something like that. But like I said,
Yeah, no,
it's yeah. Like a lot of
yeah,
people
there's
in
photos of him
Hollywood.
at 50 versus at like 30, and he looks like
Mhm,
like exact same. It's crazy.
yeah. A lot of people in Hollywood, man, like they're getting little treatments done. Like they're not like
Yeah,
crazy treatments, like like a nose job, implants, like stuff like that. I mean, stuff like that. It is seen, but it's not as common as like getting like a little bit of Botox here, a little bit of filler, facials, things like
yeah,
that. Like that's very common, especially with celebrities, modeling, all that. Um,
of
so
course.
so yeah,
100%, man. So, all right, I have one question from one of the viewers. Let's talk a little bit about hair loss and
yeah,
medication. So
yeah,
obviously, I believe like 80% of men will eventually experience some form of hair loss. And so
yeah,
obviously there's preventative things that you can do like finasteride, midoxanil, stuff like that. What's your
mhm,
opinion on taking it before you need it, as
yeah,
opposed to obviously waiting until you see signs of it, or
yeah.
any other like preventative measures that you may have, you know?
Right. So I had actually just started getting into hair loss like recently,
Yeah.
just because I've always looked out for it.
Yeah.
Ever since I was
As
younger, yeah,
yeah.
I've always had a
That's
naturally like
good.
big forehead. So like people will kind of make
Yeah.
fun of me for that, or this or that, or family members would. So what it did though is that it made me hyper aware of my hairline. So I would always look for it. Like, is my hairline receding, this or that. And naturally, as you get older, your face grows forward. So like
Yeah.
from a baby to you're older as an adult, the 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 main change that happens is like the face starts growing forward. So not only that, but your hairline starts going up. You'll see like
Yeah.
pre-puberty, your hairline's a lot lower than it is when you're older. That's just gonna happen.
Also,
That's just
a matured
uh,
hairline as well. Like you'll
yes.
notice a lot of right after puberty, that's whenever your
Mhm.
hairline will change. And it's not
Yeah,
hair loss, it's maturing. Like I know
right.
for me, like my teeth went back slightly right after puberty, like 17,
Yeah,
18. I started puberty super late. Then it stayed the
yeah,
exact same for like the last 8 years,
yeah,
So it's 7 years. Yeah, but
yes.
it matures because all the new hormones, but then it's obviously at that point, it's
Uh-huh.
if there's more of it, then that would be an issue.
Right. Yeah, that's what somebody had
Yeah,
to explain to me. He was just like,
yeah,
It's not receding, it's just maturing." That's just one of the
yeah,
things that happens in puberty is that like the corners kind of go in a little bit. You're not gonna have that low straight hairline like you used to when you were younger. But
yeah,
also, as you said, like 80% of guys are prone to hair loss. But what sucks about it is that most people don't notice that they lost hair until about 50% of it is gone. So you don't notice it until
yeah,
your shit is like back here, and
yeah,
then you're like, oh shit, I'm losing hair. And you already got a widow's peak and that shit. It's shaped like that.
like Vegeta.
And
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So what I suggest to guys is if you have a family history of hair loss, which most guys, do have, like I said earlier, like don't think that you're special, go to a
Yeah,
doctor, go to a dermatologist, have them analyze your scalp. And I mean, I've been personally advised to get on finasteride as soon as possible. Not as
yeah.
soon as possible, but at this age right now in my mid 20s, seeing signs of
Are
hair
you on it
loss,
now,
like,
or are you saying that you're going to wait until you might see any signs?
oh no, I'm gonna go on it now because
Okay, okay.
because you actually, they say you get hair loss on your mom's side. And
Yeah.
my mom recently got on finasteride like 2 years ago.
Oh,
Just
your
because
mother
she
did?
started, yeah, because she started getting hair loss and she's like 47. And
Yeah.
her hair isn't thin or anything. Like she still got a full head of hair. But she got on finasteride. My grandpa, he has hair loss too.
Okay, okay.
So like I just know like, that's coming for me too. So I'm like, I don't even want to play with it. I don't even want to see, you know what I'm saying? I don't even want to roll the dice with it. I'm
Yeah,
just like, let me get on it
yeah.
real quick. So
What do you think
I've
about the
already
side
looked.
effects of the pill? Because obviously it can affect your hormones, specifically your testosterone, and then
Yeah,
cause a bit of other side effects as well.
yeah, I've heard about
I believe
that.
it dries out the skin a little bit too.
You said about what?
I think it might dry out the skin a little bit too, because it's
Oh
obviously like
yeah,
the pro is it actually does work. Like it keeps your hair. Like they've done so many studies, and if you take
right,
finasteride consistently, you're going to keep all your hair. Like there's no
right,
doubt
right.
about it. But there's
Yeah.
going to be some side effects.
Oh yeah. So I
Yeah, yeah,
think
we
when
got
it comes
some people
to,
saying there's some bad side effects in the comments.
yeah, and what sucks is that like whenever there's something that could probably like potentially really help you, there's always a
Yeah,
risk, there's always a side effect for it. And I've researched finasteride a lot, and there's only a small percentage of guys who actually get side effects. It's just like with everything
okay.
else. Anything that we talk about like is going to have risks. It's going to have side effects. We could talk, to the cows come home about diet and exercise. Somebody's going to talk about the risk of diet and
Yeah,
exercise. We could talk about,
yeah,
Botox and fillers. There's hella people that talk about the bad experiences with that and the side effects with that, but there's also like a really good, positives to that. And no matter what, there's going to be side effects to things, but what you got to know is that like this stuff has been around for years, and this stuff has been through so many case studies and has been through so many tests that like it's safe for most people, for you to be that small percentage. I mean, of course it's still possible, you know what I'm saying? But like, what is it to me if like, say like I'm 25 now and I'm scared as hell to take finasteride because I'm so scared that like my dick won't work or that I might get man boobs or something like that. And like 10 years go by, and now my shit is all the way back here, and it's so far gone, when at 25 I could have stopped it. So I feel like there are some things that you can do. Like you can have blood work done, like doing a hormone test for like DHT to like see if you're like prone to having low DHT levels, things like that. So like you can do a hormone panel before you take finasteride, because it does lower that DHT level. So I think for somebody who's like really scared about the side effects, they should do a hormone test before taking it in order to get them that peace of mind, But other than that, with anything in life, you cannot be too scared to do something because, it happened to like 1% of guys, because from my study, from my studies, I've seen that like finasteride works for like 90% of guys. Like it has a really high success rate, but it's just that small percentage of guys who experience side effects who are like making all this hubbub about the finasteride. So
I think it's like that with so if anyone's watching this, if you guys are experiencing obviously some hair loss, like if you have a family history of it, it's something to consider. Obviously I really feel like this conversation is like a more plates, more dates like type of podcast now. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever seen this?
Oh yeah, I've seen him before. I mean, I watch his videos a lot.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. If you guys want more information, obviously go check him out. But I would also start taking it if I notice any signs. And then there's lots of other like self-development people who take it as well. I think Alpha M started taking it recently too.
Oh yeah.
So
and he got the most straightest like hairline ever.
50, man, and his hairline's like hasn't budged in like 20 years.
Like I don't even see a maturing hairline at all. Like I just see that just straight. I'm like, what?
Yeah. He made a video saying that he's getting on it. I'm like, bro, I think you're fine. Like,
it's just like you're 50 now. Like I think it would have been happened. But that's crazy.
Maybe he got on test or something, and then maybe he started seeing some signs of hair loss from the test.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he probably started seeing some signs. But like his hair is not even gray yet.
No, it's crazy.
It's 50,
So, man, I think the next topic, let's talk about the male model physique. I think that should be a fun one. So obviously, you're quite shredded yourself. And lots of people watching this, they want to build the body of more of a male model. Obviously with modeling contracts, they have a little bit of characteristics. Like agencies have told me like in the past, like my lats have been too big, like my legs, like my neck, my trap. Like there's specific muscles that you can easily overdo, obviously with modeling. But then there's some where you haven't really developed, like the chest, the abs, the biceps, So what's kind of your take, your perspective on like building the male model physique?
Dang. So I haven't encountered that, but I've definitely heard of male models saying like they're too muscular, like they're too big. But for me,
it's not even that they're too big. I think it's just in the specific areas,
Yeah. But I think for me, bro, it's just been like I've just always been focused on building muscle. Like I don't think like, and I feel like I look pretty almost, like really jacked, so like but I've never had anybody tell me like I'm too big. But you know why though? It's because like my frame is like really small. Like I have a really small like frame, and I feel like if you look at me, like if you ever meet me in real life, Like I'm like you'll be like, oh whoa, this guy's like way smaller than I thought. Like because I
Yeah.
weigh probably as much as I did like in high school and middle school. Like my waist is like 26, 27, and like
Oh, sure.
it, yeah, even like that,
Yeah.
and like like when you wear like long sleeves or like sleeves that don't show off your arms, like you think like I'm a pretty skinny guy, and I feel like a lot of
I think
people
that's
just don't.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, anyone who's a natty, man, any natural lifter, like obviously
Mhm.
no tests, nothing. And if you're lean, everyone
Yeah,
always thinks you're skinny. It's probably one of the most annoying things actually. Because like if you get a pump,
yes,
obviously lighting, like they think like you're the fucking Hulk, like you're the most aesthetic
yes,
person in the world.
yeah,
But then the second you put a t-shirt on and leave the gym, they're like, oh, this guy, who the hell is
yeah.
this guy?
Yep, yep. I walk out with a fucking with a hoodie or like like a short sleeve shirt that doesn't show off my arms. It's just like, man, fuck this
Yeah,
man,
yeah, like an
And then they'll see
yeah.
me like bench pressing like 250. They're like, yo, what the fuck? And it's just like it's unexpected, And but I
Yeah.
like that because it's just like, yo, if anybody tries to test me, like try to fight me, like they're in for like a rude awakening. Like they thinking like I'm
Yeah,
some
no, I
skinny
think
dude.
that's
It's
true,
just
yeah.
like
It's very low
yeah,
key. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. It's very low key, but it's nice. But you definitely get underestimated a lot. Like
Yeah.
people like think like you're like not that strong or something, But like you said,
Yeah,
you get
it's
that good
crazy, man, like
lighting.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
I'll have a t-shirt on, and sometimes I tell people, like, I'm a personal trainer, and they're like, "Oh,
Hmm.
wow. I'm so surprised. You don't look like one." I'm just like, "Really? Like,
Yeah.
fuck you."
Because they're probably thinking of like the roid up, like
Yeah, I'm
two
not
two
busted
hundred
by
pound.
straight trainer,
Yeah.
like yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Like
crazy,
the
man.
Yeah, like the roid up 250-pound, like big dude just stand like this all the
Man,
time.
I think this TikTok generation and this new society is kind of ruining everyone's expectations as well. It's like all these
Yeah.
people on social media, like they're on something, like, and
Oh
all
yeah.
these like TikTok dudes, like they're all on SARMs. Like I've talked to
Mhm.
actually some of them, like they'll say it and then come out on their Instagram saying, "Oh, I'm all natty, like I've never taken anything." And it's like, okay, but you
Yeah.
gained 50 pounds in a year, like
Yeah.
yeah. So
People don't understand like when it becomes your job, like when this is like
yeah,
your life, like when like you have to do this in order to put food on the table, you got to do some shit, like doing
yeah,
steroids or SARMs or whatever. Because I have a friend who does that too. You would
yeah,
never really think about it because it's just like you think nowadays like people just big like that now, like it almost becomes a norm now, and people don't like kind of like look at you funny because they're like there's a whole bunch of people who do SARMs that look like him and you wouldn't even know it.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
definitely,
people
man.
definitely got to understand that like yeah, like these influencers and stuff, they're more than likely probably on something, but it's like it's reasonable because it's
Yeah.
just like this is their job. Like they got to be like the top,
Yeah, yeah,
they got to be the top like 1% to make the most amount of money doing a social media thing.
100%.
So
I think I
yeah.
just have an issue with it whenever they lie about it, you know? Like, if they have, like, in their bio, like, "all
Yeah.
natural athlete," I'm like, "Are you?"
Mhm.
Like, I don't think so, man. Like,
Yeah. Um, and that becomes,
if they don't say
it's the
anything,
ego.
then at that point, they don't really have to
Yeah.
declare it, you know?
Yeah. It's the ego,
Yeah,
because when you're a social media influencer, you kind of want people to idolize you. And that's kind of what people do.
yeah,
Like they idolize, celebrities, they idolize whoever they're following. And it's almost as if like they want to look at you as if you're a god or like a gift from the gods. Like everything that you have was just like given to you. And whenever like you say like you paid for something,
yeah,
it's like they kind of like it's almost as if they like lose respect for you. And
yeah,
that's why like you have to be so like humble and you have to put your ego in a check when you come out and say like, oh, like yeah, I do drugs, or like I like do Botox, or I get implants, or I do
yeah.
steroids. Like yeah.
Kinda like the illusion's shattered a little bit, you know?
Mhm. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
the illusion.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of actually it's one of the 48 laws of power. It's like you want to make your accomplishments seem effortless, you know? So like you don't
Right.
want to actually you don't want everyone to
Yeah.
see how much work you actually put into it
Yeah.
or some of the secrets that you actually have to actually get
Yep.
to where you are. You know?
Yeah.
So
I
it's like
remember reading
it's
that
like
too. Yeah.
down low. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting book. I think every man should read it. I'm still doing my
Oh.
series on my channel.
Oh
Obviously,
yeah.
like every other one is like purely psychotic tendencies, and like you should never
Uh-huh.
behave like this to another person. And it's like there actually are people out there like that, like following these laws, like just
Oh
down to
yeah.
a T.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that was one of them. Like just because I read the book, you know, the whole book, and I
yeah,
was just like, hell yeah, I could see that. You know, because people almost want to idolize you. That's like kind of like where
yeah,
I get the idea from, and it's kind of like to hide your work in a
yeah,
sense. Because it's just like sometimes honesty can actually work against you, you know,
yeah.
and
You don't
that's
want
what.
to sometimes be overly honest. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah.
Here's one question if you want to answer it. Or all right, so do you guys stay lean all year round, or do you have a bulking season? Also, is 12% body fat good enough, or should I go lower?
Mm,
Um, I'll let you go first, man. Do you ever bulk, or do you just kind of focus on staying very lean, obviously, because you want to, especially if you're modeling and just life in general. Like, I fucking hate bulking. It's like you don't want to
yeah,
lose the jaw. Like, you don't want to look in
yeah.
the mirror and see your bottom
No,
ab disappearing. Like, it sucks. Like, the point of all of this is
it
to
does.
look good all year. Like,
Yes,
so
yeah,
for me, I don't
yeah,
personally like bulk these days. Like, I've kind of built up the size I want to, so it's more so maintenance.
yeah.
But how about you? Like, do you ever do like bulking protocols or anything like that?
Oh, dude, last time I did a bulk, it was just how I said, like how the world treats you and how like people
Yeah,
look at you. Like
yeah, yeah,
the attraction level that you get from the opposite sex just plummets. Like it's
yeah. You take off
just,
the shirt
I
and
don't
you
know.
have a
It's just so
six pack
funny to me,
anymore.
but it's so like,
Yeah,
yep, yep. It's so funny. It's like once I hit like that 155, 160, it's just like whenever I'm like 140, like I would literally have just like complete strangers like come up, be like, "Oh my god, you're so beautiful. Oh my god, you're so pretty. Oh my god, you should be on
yeah,
TV." You know, this and that. That shit goes
yeah,
away once I hit like 155, and it's such like an instant like change, like because like it
yeah,
starts like going to my face, and it sucks because when you're modeling, like you do have to stay like really lean all year round, but
yeah.
I personally think that like it's easier to stay lean than it is to get lean. Like it's easier
100%.
to maintain it. Yeah, it's
Well,
easy to
it's like
maintain it. Yeah,
if you're like 20% body fat, let's say it takes
hmm
3,000 calories to maintain this versus you getting down to like 8%. Now you need 2,500 to sustain this new body weight. It's really not that big of a difference, you know? But
yeah,
obviously going from the 3,000 like the 2,000 to shred all the fat to begin with, that's gonna be pretty
yeah.
tough, especially if you're used to the 3,000. So
hmm
it takes quite a bit of adjusting, but then once you're lean, it's like I don't know if you've noticed this, but it's almost like there's like a rubber band effect. So it's like once you're
Yeah,
lean and like digits are around like 10% for so long, your body wants to stay at that point. So it's like once you start eating
yeah.
over maintenance, your body you kind of lose your appetite and like you naturally lose weight again. And vice versa. Like if you get too lean, your body kind of wants to gain a little bit of weight.
Oh yeah.
Are you all
Um,
good over there,
hold
man,
on.
with your setup?
Yeah, 1 second. My IG live just like
Oh yeah, yeah, no worries, man.
it just cracked.
Yeah, guys, he had a
It just
Instagram live
cracked.
going as well. Yeah, guys,
Yeah.
everyone go follow Prettyboyfloyd on Instagram. Your IG handle is what is it?
Uh, yeah, Elijah,
Yeah.
ALIJAH.AJ.
But if you search
Um,
Prettyboyfloyd, it comes up as well. So it's his name
oh
on
yeah,
Instagram.
yeah.
But yeah, man.
Sorry, let me get this
No,
straight
no
real
worries,
quick.
man.
Yeah,
All right,
just
let's see if there's any
because.
questions
All right, yeah, I just
that
want
we
to
can
have
answer while you're getting stuff set up.
some content going. Let me go live again. Yeah, it had dropped because of poor connection.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, my connection's a bit poor as well. Hopefully the stream ends up all right. Okay, I have someone, he's asking me if it's sustainable to stay lean all year round. Are you still there, man? I think he's glitched out. Can everyone see me? It is very sustainable though to stay lean year round, man. Obviously the leaner you are, the more increase in appetite you're going to have. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult depending on how lean you can consistently sustain. Oh, there we go. You're back, man. You glitched out for a second.
Yeah, I'm back now.
Okay, no worries, man.
Hello?
No worries.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. Do you want to answer a couple questions from the chat, man?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, we got someone asking Jeremiah, what do you think about waxing eyebrows? We there, yeah. Do you what do you do for your eyebrows?
Hello?
You wax or I'm a plucker. I've made a video on it, but I pluck in between and then underneath.
Yeah.
I've actually done it ever since I was
Yeah.
16. I watched an album video and I did it ever since.
Mhm.
And that's just what I do.
Yep.
Maintain that.
Yeah. I remember, yeah, when I was younger, I used to actually can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I can hear you.
Hello?
Are you
Oh,
there?
okay. Yeah, I'm just having
Am I
some
cutting
bad
out?
connection issues.
No, I think we both are, man. It's both of our internets.
Oh, yeah. So waxing eyebrows, yeah, when I was younger, I used to be like kind of self-conscious about my eyebrows, and I used to feel like they were like bushy and unruly, didn't have a shape, stuff like that. So I used to like my mom used to like pluck them for me, and like she used to
Yeah,
like shave them or whatever. But ever since I got older, man, I started realizing like I was plucking too much. Like it was like what I think that you should do is I think that you should work with what you have. So if you naturally
yeah,
have thick eyebrows, then you should work to maintain that. I don't think that you should wax them thin, because I
yeah.
feel like you're not going to look, aesthetic. Yeah, I feel
Personally, I
like
think it's
you're
like
not going
that
to
bottom
harmonize with
part.
your face.
100%. I think
What
it's the
was that?
bottom part, like underneath, like if you pluck that to where there's like no stray eyebrows,
Hmm.
obviously, then it helps increase the
Yeah,
symmetry. But when you're like going
yeah,
above and
yeah.
trimming it, like too much, and it
Hmm.
almost looks like I don't know. It's almost a bit
Yeah.
overly familiar.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because your eyebrows, they could definitely take you down a few points if you're a guy and if you overwax. Um,
Yeah,
but even if they're like crazy unruly, like if they're crazy unruly too, like it could take you down a few points too. So for me
yeah,
personally, what I do is I actually get my eyebrows microbladed. So like have you heard of microblading?
yeah. No, I've heard of it.
So like microblading is like yeah, you're just getting like tattoos done. It's basically a tattoo of
Yeah.
your eyebrow. I go
Okay.
all the way to Los Angeles, California to get my Jones done.
Yeah.
It's kind of expensive to keep up with. Yeah, it like
Yeah.
you get it
I can
touched up
imagine.
like once a year. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That's pretty sick though, man.
what yeah, but having like dense eyebrows, like having eyebrows that are like, okay, yeah, he's got eyebrows. It'll definitely put you up in terms of looks, but like I said, just maintaining the shape and just maintaining maintenance of your eyebrows is it's a really good thing. It's a very important part of the face. It frames the eyes, it frames everything. Um
100%.
so yeah.
So man,
Waxing
let's
eyebrows. Um
yeah.
hello?
Are you good? Yeah, we're lagging a little bit.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was lagging
yeah.
out.
No, I was just gonna say, like let's say we have a scenario, man. where there's one person, let's say right now he's like a 3, 4, 5, like he's not very attractive. Let's say he's the average American. You know, let's say he's 20 years
Yeah.
old, like average body fat, average facial features. How would this guy become the most attractive version of himself? Obviously, it comes down to everything, but where would this guy start? Maybe fashion, maybe getting a decent haircut,
Mhm.
maybe start by just
Yeah.
anything, you know. What's your thoughts on just becoming the best version of yourself and kind of where this person would start? Because obviously on my channel, I'm always ranting about where I think people should start, but obviously everyone resonates with different perspectives, and self-development isn't just it's very subjective, you know. It's not just one perspective, it's how you resonate with other
Mhm.
people, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
it's your opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, everybody's different, but I will say the most common thing, like whenever people ask me like what's the the best way, or like how can I start like getting more attractive, whenever somebody asks me that, I promise you 9 out of 10 times it's the body fat. And like I know like we keep
That's
on
what I
bringing
say
up
too.
body fat, but it's just like
Yeah,
it's such a fundamental like thing. And it's just
yeah,
like it's number one, it's one of the most hardest ones, but it's also the most
yeah.
rewarding ones. Not only that,
It's
but for the most part,
yeah,
it's the cheapest.
it's crazy, man.
It's definitely,
Getting
yeah.
shredded is like one of the most simple things anybody can do. But I feel like that combined obviously with having muscle,
Yeah.
because I've met some shredded people, but they don't have an ounce of muscle. And obviously you combine muscle with being shredded,
Yeah.
you have an aesthetic physique. I think I've literally met more people worth like 6, 7, 8 figures than I met who have been able to actually just do that, you
Uh-huh.
know? And it's such a simple fucking thing. Like, get
Yeah.
shredded, get a six pack, build muscle. Like, no one can do it. It's like so
Yeah.
difficult. Yeah,
Oh my
it's
God.
crazy, man.
Yeah. So I mean, really, it comes down to the mindset. Just like, kind of going along with that, you've
Yeah,
seen more rich guys than more ripped guys. Like you've seen that
yeah,
before, because like it's the amount of discipline that it takes, but it's the amount of times that you show up. It's the amount of time that you wake up and say to yourself, all right, we on this diet. All right, this the meal plan. All right, go to the gym. All right, like, you know,
yeah,
like you're constantly telling yourself like day by day, like it's not necessarily like something that you could just like get off for like a month and do it for like a day. Like, nah, like you have to be consistent with it.
yeah. It's
But
a lifestyle.
after body fat, what was that?
Oh, just a lifestyle, man. Just being consistent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It becomes a lifestyle. But
yeah,
not getting too deep into the body fat, because we could probably talk all day about that, but like still getting on top of like
yeah,
how can this guy send a 4, up to like maybe like a 6 or a 7. And you have brought up fashion. Fashion is definitely like, yo, like if you want to make yourself like different and like distinguishable from like other guys and stuff, it's gonna be your fashion sense. It's gonna be your style. So
100%.
with that, yeah, my number one suggestion with that is to find inspiration from other guys, like on
Yeah,
Instagram, just on the internet, on YouTube, whatever it is, and just like save like their outfits. And when you save their outfits, what you need to do is like you need to like look on sites like H&M, ASOS, or even just like Google searching like like the specific like jacket or shirt that they have on, or jeans, and just like try to match it. And a lot of times what's going to happen is that you're probably not going to find the exact same thing. So when you don't find the exact same thing, but when you find something that looks similar to it, that's kind of how you find your own style. So like say
yeah,
like you seen like this black like denim jacket or whatever. Like if you search
yeah,
up
yeah,
black denim jacket, like maybe you don't find like a black denim jacket. Maybe you find like a black like parka jacket or whatever. And then like he
yeah,
matches it with like a shirt and jeans and shoes. It's just like little things that will just like point you into the right direction. And I found over the
Kind of what
years what I used to actually do was
yeah.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's cool, man. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just
Oh, no.
saying, like over the years. Oh yeah, no, you get. Over the years, what I used to do is, I used to like go on like clothing websites, and
Yeah.
I used to spend like hours just looking at clothes and just like adding them to the cart, like everything that like caught my eye. I'd be like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's like a really cool shirt. Oh, that's a really cool pair of shoes. I would just add it to the cart.
Yeah.
Ever since
Yeah.
I was like in high school and middle school, because I was always into fashion.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I used to just like dream about like, like checking out these carts that would be like over like $1,000. And just like picture myself just looking like just clean with all of it. So a lot of times if you just like window shop
Yeah.
online, you kind of build your fashion sense by that. But I think the best way is to find inspo, and try to
Yeah.
not
Definitely.
necessarily imitate, but emulate, like kind of like sort of
Yeah.
like get to the reasoning behind why that outfit looks good.
Yeah. No, it's kind of what I've told my subscribers quite a bit too. Like, I don't almost like these like teaching men's fashion, like, or like these fashion trends, because it's like you're almost at the same time looking just like everybody else. So it's more so like
Yep.
obviously like having a decent sense of fashion, but then going off and creating your own sense to where it's like,
Right.
okay, like that's Prettyboyfloyd's fashion, like that's Austin Wayne's fashion, like that's something only Austin would wear, like very specific things that kind of resonate with
Yeah.
you, and having the confidence obviously to pull that off. Because like I feel like fashion and style specifically, it's like doing things that are a little bit outside of what's going to be socially like normal, because you're not looking like
Yeah.
everybody else. So you need the
Right.
confidence to really fire that as well. Otherwise, it's just kind of flop. Like it's not gonna look very good.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard this quote one time, fashion is temporary, style is eternal, because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. I've
like,
always picked it up
yeah.
a little bit.
hmm
Yeah.
It's I've noticed now, I think it was like I want to say like when I was like 21, I really started to look into like timeless pieces. Like I really started to look into like loafers, trench coats, button ups, like things that will never go out of style. Things that are just
Yeah.
timeless. Like a trench coat, like a dude will always look good in a suit. Dude will always look good in a trench coat. Dude always
Yeah.
look good with some nice laced up dress shoes. Like those things will never go out of style, but like some things are just trends, that will go out of style. I don't even know what the latest trend is now, but like some things will just come and go, and it's just like once you like do this for a while, you sort of like see like, okay, all these influencers are like wearing like this Gucci belt or whatever. All these influencers are
Yeah.
like wearing like these Balenciaga shoes. Like they look ugly as shit, but like um
I feel
it's
like the
just
new
like
trends like aren't even trends,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Like I feel like it's like it's like the baggy, oversized look nowadays. Like
yeah,
everyone wears these outfits where you can't even see their physiques. It's kind of weird to me.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
I don't get it. Like
I could
obviously I'm
see that. Yeah,
not either, but it's like a huge wave of just like insanely oversized clothing. I don't know. Maybe that's just what I've seen.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I see that too. And I kind of like it. Like I'm not against it,
Yeah, yeah.
because I yeah, it's a nice switch, especially for my style, because I'm always like wearing like slim fitting stuff. So it's
Yeah.
nice to incorporate like some baggy stuff, here and there, whatever. But again, like you said, it's not really flattering to the physique, but it
Yeah.
definitely adds some like, it's different from the usual,
Yeah.
like I could like do like a shirtless photo shoot, but I'll have like some really baggy jeans, but it's just like, like when you're cut up and you got like some baggy jeans and, they sag a little bit, like, I feel like it would make a nice photo and will probably like stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel you, man. Yeah, it's pretty sick. So we're kind of in the hour territory now,
Yeah.
man. We've talked a lot about aesthetics and obviously physically. So I kind of want to, before obviously we end the live stream, get into a little bit of a deep talk, kind of get a little bit
Yeah.
spiritual on this live stream, and kind of like the purpose behind all of this. Like why do like we want to become the best versions of ourselves? Why do we want to become more aesthetic, and kind of like what's even deeper than that?
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. What's So you say that you're quite spiritual, man. Like, kind of where did that start with
Yeah.
you? Obviously, with all of this, guys, like we want to also be completely well-rounded, and I believe consciousness
Mm-hmm.
is part of that as well. Like, that's going to come into becoming the best man you possibly can.
Yeah. I
No.
mean, with like, how I talk about like cosmetic procedures or, surgeries or, doing little tweaks and stuff like that, you can definitely go
Yeah.
overboard with it. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like before you start doing stuff like that, you need to have like good mental health. Like mental health
Yeah.
is so important, especially when you're trying to improve your physical appearance, because
Oh, mental health
I
is
think
insane.
what was that?
The mental health is so important. Not enough
Yeah.
men obviously speak about it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very important aspect. I mean, like, I think before you think about getting a facelift or before you think about getting, any sort of tweakments, like your self image and how you see yourself needs a facelift and a tweakment before you think about doing something like that. Because a lot of times, whatever like you're thinking like looks bad about you probably doesn't look that bad. If anything, like it
Yeah.
probably makes you, and
Yeah. Yeah.
you could change your perspective, and it might be like a really unique feature. um so with mental health and spirituality, and how I feel like how
Yeah.
I'm doing with my channel is that I know how it feels to be that guy who doesn't like the way that he looks. And I feel like it's an act of service of mine to teach you guys how to improve your life and teach you what you can do to improve your life, because like I said, this type of stuff, when you don't look that good, and it and you can feel it and you don't have that confidence, it can really be a detriment to your mental health. So that's why taking care of your body and taking care of your mental health are so intertwined. Because if you're lacking on either one, your quality of life is like it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
So
You have any quick tips, man, for how people can like have healthier, obviously mental health, and then just better confidence as well? Because a lot of this, like you're speaking of, it's like a lot of people get overly obsessed with their personal experience or just how they look
mhm,
because of that lack of confidence.
yeah,
They look in the mirror and they don't feel confident within themselves, so they feel like they're never satisfied. But
yeah,
it's not even like the physique or like even being enough, because there's bodybuilders out there. They're huge, they're shredded, but they hate themselves
yeah,
and they still don't think that they look good
yes,
enough. They still need to keep going.
yeah,
It's like, and it's like,
yeah,
how do we really like set the line? Like, okay, I need to put some work in. I need to build a physique versus getting to that point of
yeah,
satisfaction to where you've gotten to where you need to be, rather than like
yeah,
continuing trying
yeah,
to get deeper and deeper, and obviously just very insecure. And then
yeah.
this is where a lot of mental health issues come in too.
Right. Where I mean, us as like bodybuilders or who into like physique and stuff like that, we joke about this, but we say like, oh, like I have some sort of never enough. Like, especially when you like try to get like shredded, you're never lean
Yeah,
enough. You feel like you
yeah,
never look, cut enough, or you feel like you look fat. And
yeah,
that's kind of like it's a blessing and a curse, because it's just like, yo, like you don't know how good you actually look, like how like good you look compared to like most guys. And what's funny about it is that you never notice it until like you bulk or until you gain a little bit of weight. And then you look back at pictures and you remember
yeah,
what you were telling yourself that day. Like I remember like when I had like gotten like 15 pounds over, and I remember looking at pictures of my past self and I was like, oh my God, was I really that shredded? And then I remember
yeah,
like
no,
the thought that I would have
yeah,
in my head was just like, "Oh my God, why do I look so fat today?" You know, and
Yeah.
you're not really going to come to that awareness until like you've kind of been on the other side of that. But like you have to take those days where you look good and really appreciate the work that you put in. So like some days, like yo, you've got to thank yourself. Like yo, like some days when you've made progress, you need to take the time to like celebrate and like really in your head be like, yo, I've done so much good work. You know, like yo, this is crazy because a lot of times, man, I think a lot of times like we sort of you know, try to get those like those attaboys or like, you know, that praise that, you know, good job, bro. Like, yo, your physique is sick.
Yeah.
But on most days, you're not going to get that. And you have to be
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
person that says, yo, my physique looks sick right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you have to talk to yourself how you would want everybody else to talk to you. You know? So when it
100%,
comes to
man.
mental health and stuff like that, you need to be your best friend. Yeah, like you
Yeah.
need to be your best friend. Like you need to be that friend that nobody else is being to you. You need to be, you know, whomsoever that girlfriend, that mom that you want them to be. You know, you need to start saying that shit to yourself. You need to start saying like, "Yo, I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you." You know, even
That's
though
the
like
thing. I
you're
feel like
not
so
getting
many
those.
people. Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like some people, like, they do these things, like, almost just for other people. Like, they get shredded, they make more
right.
money, like, they do these things just because they want that little bit of just validation from somebody else, whether it's
Yeah,
parents, friends, just society in general. And sometimes they don't get it, you know? That's why it's so important to be doing it for you at the end of the day. So make
hmm
sure, like, whatever you're doing, whether it's fitness, just becoming the best version of yourself, or obviously college or your career, like just make sure you're doing it for yourself. Like it's what's really satisfying you.
right.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, man.
Um, yeah. It's yeah.
Cool, cool. 111. It's an awesome live stream so far, man. I think maybe we'll see
Yeah.
if there's any questions we want to answer, and then
Okay.
kind of get to wrapping things up soon.
All right. Cool.
All right, cool, cool. Um, is there anything else you really want to discuss, man, while we're on the live stream?
Um, I also think like with mental health, what's really a good investment is books. Is reading a lot of
Oh yeah,
books.
yeah. The
Um,
books are very good for mental health.
year. Yep. I read a lot of books. You know, specifically self-help books, self-improvement books like that, you
Yeah,
know. These are the types of
I
stuff
know.
that even
No,
like
Harry Potter.
YouTubers and gurus, you know, that have like a whole bunch of subscribers. Yeah, they read those books and they're getting a lot of their information from books. So if you really want to be ahead of the
Yeah,
game, like yo, read books, like read a lot of books. Yeah.
100%, man. Um, but yeah, and I listen to audiobooks, guys. Sometimes whenever I work out
Oh,
too, makes it way easier. Yeah, I'm a little bit ADHD
oh
too. I like to do multiple things at once. So like sometimes I'll like be
yeah,
updating client plans and I have a book playing. You know.
yeah.
Ooh.
I use Audible a lot. Like whenever I'm going
Yeah,
on like a road trip or whatever, whenever I'm driving,
yeah, yeah,
perfect time to plug in an audiobook. Whenever I'm cleaning around my house, perfect time to plug in an audiobook because I feel like nowadays it's so much easier to read a book now, like with Audible, because it's just like you used to have to like have a specific time dedicated to like reading. Like you would just like have to like sit here,
yeah,
grab a book. This is The Way of the Superior Man, by the way, like right beside my desk. This is a really
yeah.
good book. But
You can do
you just
anything
have to like
else
sit here.
while you're reading that book physically. You know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like you can't do anything. You have to
yeah.
be
Like you're just
dedicated to reading this
completely
book. So
intimate
that's the best way
with
to
that
read
book.
books. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just
Yeah.
if you guys need to read a little bit more. Did you ever get scouted for modeling, or did you seek it out yourself?
So Yeah. I remember doing a photo shoot with this photographer, and that's like when a lot of agencies started to hit me up. Um,
Yeah,
so it's weird because this question is kind of like they kind of go hand in hand because it's just like if I didn't seek out opportunities,
yeah,
modeling agencies wouldn't come to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like if
yeah,
I didn't start, trying to model and taking pictures and connecting with photographers and stuff like that, I wouldn't have been
yeah.
scouted. So it's just
I
like
think people are,
I
yeah, it's like,
that work.
yeah, it's like being scouted is almost like you have the look for like a model, and so like sometimes people will like hook
Yeah.
you up with a photographer, like tell you like you
Hmm.
look like you need to be a model, something like that, like, and then you kind of reach out from that point, you know. Or for me, I actually had a
Right.
friend. She like really blew up around like 19, 20 like years old. Obviously, women age out of modeling much earlier than men do, but she got me into it to
Oh
begin
yeah.
with, and so that's kind of how I got started, you know. And so just like a recommendation from a
Yeah.
friend, basically, and just went from there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how
Yeah,
it kind of it was like a recommendation from a photographer. Um
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and I mean it wasn't even like a recommendation per se, but like I was shooting with this photographer and like modeling agencies were messaging him and saying like,
yeah,
like who is he? What's his info? Stuff like that. So definitely bro, like do photo shoots as much as you can. Like I said, seek opportunities for modeling agencies to scout you out. So definitely put yourself
yeah.
out there.
It's with
Yeah.
anything though. I mean, you always want to create as much opportunity as possible, you know? Like
Yeah.
even if like you're the biggest giga chad in the world, but you're not putting yourself in the
Yeah.
opportunity to meet women, you're not going to be getting any woman. Like no matter
Right.
how insane looking you look or high
Yeah.
value you are, like place
Yeah.
yourself correctly.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
closed mouths don't get fed. Like if you're not trying to, actually put in some effort to doing it and actually put in some, some effort to try to get noticed, it's not
Yeah.
going to it's not going to happen if you stuck in your room all day and think like, what I'm saying? Like think like, uh, you know, some modeling agencies just going to knock on your door while you're like in your house, like watching TV. Like it's not going to happen like that. Or like,
Yeah, or
even
like
like
you
when
go
you're
into the
like
mall once
outside.
a week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like
like
you hear about like some stories of like guys getting scouted out, like walking in the streets and like some modeling agency be like, hey, I want you to model for me, and like,
yeah,
people think
that's
like
why
it
they
happens like
put it,
that.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
the way
just
they make it
like,
sound. It's like he got scouted and
yeah,
just blew up overnight, you know? It's like,
yeah,
it's not really
yeah.
how it works. Yeah,
No, no. I mean,
yeah.
of course, that's probably happened to like, that really small percentage of guys. And like I said,
Yeah.
like people think they're special. So like they're gonna think
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
shit, that'll happen to me too. And it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, along the lines of the last question we have here, this guy, he says, "Thoughts on famous models like Jordan Barrett, obviously Lucky Blue. Do you think you can become as famous as them
Oh
one
yeah.
day?" What like, do you wanna
Um,
take further, or do you kinda use it to propel maybe other goals that you have in life?
I would definitely love to be in their position. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, especially
How
you.
old
I
is
think
Jordan?
that you definitely
Close
have
to,
the
like
potential to be like them too.
oh, no, no, I'm
Um,
25, man.
it's
I don't really wanna get too deep into modeling.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, but yeah, yeah, but I guess I do. In terms of
Yeah,
that, I would like to be up there. Yeah, yeah.
it's cool, man. Yeah. Yeah, being famous would be cool, though. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, but I
But, yeah,
uh I don't have like that crazy expectation for me like to be like those names up there. Like it's
yeah,
just like they're so like the top that it's almost unnecessary for you to be that famous, I even
yeah,
feel like I even feel like now, like hell, I don't even have like that huge amount of following or whatever, but I do make a pretty good amount of money like on the side,
yeah.
um as
That's
like a
good.
side gig. So I could only imagine how
Yeah.
much money these guys make. It'll just
Yeah, it's
yeah,
gonna be Yeah.
So
I think almost with anything, I'd almost not want to be like the number one at anything just because they like almost
yeah,
always fall off. Because it's like if you peak too much,
right.
then you always fall off. It's like you almost want to like be very
Right.
consistently grinding and going up that mountain,
Right.
but like never like completely peak out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. When you
Yeah.
just like blow up super fast like that, that's
Yeah.
one of the things that I had to learn too, is like when you blow up super fast like that, like you should be on the lookout for like your fault, like the come down. Like it's just like, oh, whoa, I'm a little suspicious right now. Like this shit happening way too fast. Yeah, like I'm always
Yeah.
suspicious. Like, and I feel like the average person, like the normal person, would probably be like, oh shit, this is so amazing. Like I'm about to like, do all this and that. And then once the inevitable, like the come down comes, or the downfall comes,
Yeah.
it's just like they're hit with depression like hard. And it's just like
Yeah.
whenever life is going good for you, sometimes you have to think about
Yeah.
like the bad days that are about to come, and like you should prepare for like some of the bad days.
Man, you see
There's
that
like
in
this.
rappers every single
Yeah,
day of the week. It's crazy.
yeah,
Like they blow
yeah,
up and then they think that all this money's gonna last forever, and then they're
yep,
broke in like a year, you know? Like Lil Xan, for example. Like
yeah,
there's so many people like they blow up, they think it's gonna last forever, and then boom,
yeah.
it's over.
Because
It's just
it's
very
happening. It's happening too fast. It's happening faster
yeah,
than you build the habits of learning how to maintain that. If you don't know how to
yeah, you
maintain
just
your
see that natural
success,
progression.
right, right. If you don't learn how to
Yeah,
maintain your success, like it's it's not going to be very good for you. So like you have to enjoy and see that slow progression is a blessing. Like
yeah,
you like success should be like you have a little bit of a blow up, and then it's like you
yeah,
plateau, and then you have a little bit of another blow up, and then you plateau, and then it just kind of goes
yeah,
up, like how like with weight loss,
right.
like you see how like
Yeah,
when you lose weight, like sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, but it's going in
yeah,
like a positive trend when you average it
yeah.
out.
It's never
But
just
like some
yeah,
days,
all at once.
like you'll you'll blow up, like you'll gain like 3 pounds, and it'll be like right where you started, and then like you'll lose that
Yeah,
3 pounds again. Then like, yeah, it's
yeah,
like you'll go
yeah.
up, down, up, down. Yeah,
Crazy, man.
yeah.
100%. But yeah, man. So I think we'll kind of end the live stream around there. Let's see. Does
Okay,
anyone
cool.
else have any questions, or is there anything else you would like to discuss, man, before we log off?
Uh, no, I think that's about it. Unless you want to.
No, no. I think we're good.
Okay.
If you want to stay in the chat after I end the
Yeah.
broadcast, we can chat for a couple minutes too. Kind of discuss
Word.
everything. Cool, cool. All
Cool.
right. Well, everyone enjoy their Sunday wherever you are in the world. And thank you for joining the live stream. We're finishing at
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. There we
Appreciate
go.
you.
No worries. Peace.